Hey, I'm Ethan.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I watched the first half of King Richard.
I watched the second half of King Richard.
And this
is the other half. It's Oscar season,
Oscar
baby.
season. Let's go.
We're making our way downtown.
Oscar fast.
Watching movies, and they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. They're all right.
Diddly-diddly-diddly.
Some are pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
let's see. We have probably three more left.
We got three more.
Including this one.
Right.
So,
including this one, we only have three left?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think so. And
There's
it's
so
Oscar
many.
time. I know.
There's
so many
many
out there.
Yeah.
And we haven't watched a lot.
We didn't watch a lot
Not
this year.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Some of them we are watching the old-fashioned way.
Deal with it.
Deal with it, folks. We can't watch them all. You know, we put these out once a week.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that are nominated.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, so we're talking about King Richard this week. This is a biopic based on the life of Serena and Venus Williams and their father.
Mostly about their dad.
It's mostly about their dad.
Mostly about Papa Williams.
His name is Richard Williams.
I call him Papa, though.
All right. I remember Richard Williams because Richard Williams was a very famous animator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the one that did the Roger Rabbit.
Oh.
So somebody said Richard Williams. I'm like, what the fuck? What is it?
Someone said Richard Williams. You're like, not my king. Not my king. My king drew Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, deal with it. What's that biopic gonna be made?
I made this joke about a prostate being big pills.
Oh boy,
that's what the animators do, right?
That's right.
They jokes.
They make the jokes. They write the jokes that wind up in movies. Mm-hmm. That's their job.
Yeah. Drew? I want to know who drew.
Jessica Rabbit. That was Richard Williams.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man. He came up with all that shit.
True king.
There's this great interview where he's like, "We drew this character, and it's just like she wouldn't make sense. She'd fall over. She's got this tiny little waist, these big boobs and butt. She'd fall over that way." He doesn't sound like that at all.
Oh, okay.
But
I was hoping he would. That'd be great.
No. He was that much of a creep. But anyway. This is not about that.
Mm-mm.
This is about tennis.
It's about tennis.
Sport that I love.
You roll your eyes a lot.
I don't know a damn thing about tennis.
I used to watch tennis for 1 year of my life and then forgot everything I knew about it.
I don't know. Goddamn. I don't know the scoring system. I don't know.
Scoring system is a bit weird.
I know what love means. Love is zero.
Yeah. Or like even.
Or even. Is that what it is? I
think it's both. Oh man, we're probably fucking this up so bad, guys.
Much like Belfast. And I barely did any like historical learning research. Didn't do a goddamn thing for this one.
I didn't either. Just to make sure, just to kill it pure.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know what happens, I want to see, only surprised at what happens.
Yeah. But I don't know a goddamn thing about tennis. So like most of the tennis scenes, I would mostly just go by the music and how people were responding in the crowd. So when they were just like, yes, it was like, okay, great, that was good. And then the music would be all sad, strings would come in, somebody would be like, oh damn it. I'm like, oh man, that wasn't very good.
But I think that's the thing about a good sports movie, right? Is you gotta, even if you don't know anything about the sport, you should be able to at least follow along with like, is this a good or is this a bad?
Yeah, but I guess it's like I only was able to follow along not by learning anything about the sport, but mostly by other people's reactions.
Right.
Which made my emotional response a little more delayed than
okay.
like if I was watching like, I don't know, Miracle, that movie about hockey movie. It's just like, that's a very simple game.
That's true.
It's got this little piece of plastic and you got to get it in the net.
Well, I mean, tennis is pretty simple. You just got to hit the ball over and then hope it hits the ground. And
yeah, but I'm just like, oh, that person is going to win. And then after a while, they aren't winning anymore. And I'm like, well, wait, how far are they behind? Like, that's my big question is like, how much farther do they have to go to win now? Because like,
true.
I
believe it's in 15-point increments for some reason.
Is it?
I think until the last one. I could be wrong.
It's so confusing.
It's been so long. I learned most of my tennis from Mario Tennis, and I'm not going to say how accurate that is.
There wasn't a single person that jumped up and went, woohoo!
The entire time. Oh,
Venus wasn't like...
Venus would have lost to fucking Wario Super, pulling it out. Boo's a ghost.
But
but he can hold a tennis racket.
That's true.
So that's pretty scary.
That is very scary.
I don't know if Serena could handle that. Just saying.
So yeah, I don't know any damn thing about tennis.
Okay, but did you know anything about Serena and?
I know that they're incredibly good tennis players.
Okay.
I know that they played each other once, I think, and I know that they're like the best in the world. That's all I know.
I mean, that's fair. That's what most people know.
I did know that their dad was, because I saw like that video where like a little like I think it's a young Venus is getting like interviewed, and then like the guy's being a shithead to her and going like, why do you feel so confident? And then like her dad pops in and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she's a little girl. Like you just asked her what she felt. She's responded in a confident way. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I've seen that video.
I don't think I've seen that video.
Which is recreated in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I did that thing where I pointed at the TV and I'm like, I recognize
the Leo
that.
DiCaprio
Yeah,
thing.
Leo DiCaprio. So that's recreated. But like, that's the only knowledge I knew about any of this.
Okay.
Apparently, King Richard Williams, Daddy Williams, Papa Williams, he was like a very it was a figure back in the day where people like they were the people didn't know what to make of the guy because he was always going out and doing interviews and he was sort of a divisive figure back in the day.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. He's a very interesting character. I could see it. Could see it be a very interesting. I mean, obviously I saw it, but like I could see it making a very good movie. Right, because he's just.
Did it?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. You know what? Maybe nomination for an Oscar, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's funny seeing this and Coda, how they're both about like families.
Yeah.
And, like and family dynamics.
Yeah.
But one is
based on a true story.
Yeah, which is a little bit different.
Yeah. Coda, I think, is based on like I'm sure that's happened to people before. But yeah, this is a little bit more like you've seen Serena and Venus Williams. Now see what was it like for them to grow up.
Yeah.
Apparently they produced the film as well.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
There's a bit of like historical accuracy that probably had to be matched.
That's good.
But
it's also
also
interesting having two people also, like, so it's not just one person's perspective. It's like having two people to actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, what you're going to see.
Well, I was going to say too, it's like, so it's a bit of like, it's accurate, but it's also like, they probably also wanted to sand down some.
You're probably right.
You know, like maybe the dad was like a little bit too much in certain moments and the Venus and Serena were like, can we like tone it down a little bit?
Yeah.
We don't want our dad being like shown as a monster or something.
He definitely, I don't know. I feel like in a lot of ways they definitely did show how complicated he could be as a person.
I really dug like on the page like who King Richard was. I think that was very interesting to see.
On the page?
What I mean is like how the character is portrayed in the movie.
Okay.
Like I guess I'm just not.
By the way, it's played by Will Smith.
Will Smith, and that what I was going to go with this is like I don't think Will Smith really does it justice 100%.
Really?
I think he does a pretty good job. But there's some moments where I'm just like, oh, I feel like you're just right there. He gets the accent down really well because apparently he's from New Orleans, Shreveport,
Louisiana,
and Louisiana. And he does the accent really well. But I don't know, man. There's just some moments where I'm like, I feel like you're just right there, man. Like it just a little bit, just gotta push you a little bit more, and then then the waterworks will come.
Not so Fresh Prince.
No.
So Fresh
the
Prince.
mom was really good, and the girls that played Serena and Venus are really good.
They're solid, yeah.
They're
I wouldn't
good.
say they're amazing, but they're pretty good
for their age.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And also the fact that they had to also like play this game as well as
tennis.
act. Yeah. Like I can't play fucking tennis.
No. It's and what I learned for this movie is that tennis, mainly for rich white people. It turns out. Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Honestly, at all. Like I feel like when you see tennis players, primarily it's like rich, white, affluent people getting on the court and doing it for fun.
Yeah.
It's like that in golf.
Yeah. I think tennis is more interesting than golf, at least, because at least tennis doesn't take up 1 million acres.
Oh, I agree with you there.
At least tennis is just this thing you just hit.
Golf is a fucking travesty to the to the earth.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of more what I think. Where I'm like, oh, the idea of golf seems neat, except when you do the environmental cost of how much it costs to maintain that.
But
giant lawn.
golf.
Wii golf? Wii golf's good.
Wii golf is great because
love Wii golf.
You don't have to worry about
Wii golf.
Yeah.
I got a VR golf game. Great, love that
Perfect,
too. Mini golf. Great, does not take up as much
room. Oh, I love
room.
mini golf. Yeah.
Yeah, just play
But
that.
real golf? I don't think so.
Nah,
Get out
too
of
big
here.
for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone out there who golfs. I know it's a fun thing for families to do.
Nobody who fucking golfs listens to podcasts. Everyone who golfs is a fucking boomer. Who like the only podcast they listen to is fucking like Joe Rogan.
Mike,
what?
You wish
is golf coming back?
You wish that were true, but. Here's the thing, Mike. You don't know a lot about everyone.
That's fair. I don't know everybody.
There are so many people in this world, and you can't put them all in boxes of categories.
That's true.
Some people may like listening to two knuckleheads talk about two halves of a movie
and playing
while
golf.
on the golf course.
If you're on the green right now,
blasting.
Bah! Oh no, did you miss?
Sucks. Maybe we should think about your environmental impact. Got him.
Oh shit, look, watch out. There's a ball coming for you. Nah, fuck golfers. They suck.
All right, Mike taking a strong stance here.
I'm taking a strong stance against
If
golfers.
you're a golfer, email in at theotherhalfpodcast.com.
Let us know.
And let us know.
Let us know how wrong I
That
am.
Mike could go fuck himself.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, accept you, but maybe tell you should question your motives anyway.
Maybe go do mini golf instead, or
Yeah.
pick up tennis.
Pick up tennis.
But yes, I think tennis is because like there's one point. Obviously, there's a point where like they have to go and learn professional tennis from like a person who actually can teach them tennis, and like everyone that's around them, like there's not a lot of like black people there.
No,
so it's just like, well, there you go.
It also, and just the cost of like all the training and stuff is like super expensive for kids.
I feel like training in any kind of sport is like
you're
super
probably
expensive.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more maybe because it's more one-on-one and less like a team. Like in a lot of like high schools and stuff, right?
Right.
And middle schools, I believe they have like real collegiate sports that have, teams, and they have a head coach and you can get on the team, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if they have that for tennis as much.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know about, because like football, you have to you get pads and helmet and all that other shit. There's a lot of shit. I feel like when you're playing tennis, like what you're spending money on, like what, an outfit and a racket and a ball?
Yeah, there's a lot. You go through a lot of balls though.
That's true.
The balls get lost a lot.
That's a good point.
My family would drive by and collect the balls from tennis courts and
really?
give them to our dog. Yeah.
And do what with them?
Give them to our dog. Dogs love tennis
that's
balls.
Sweet. You want to give them back to the tennis players?
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they're
Fuck
also
'em.
they're also like outside of the. They're in the gutter. Like whatever.
Nobody wants.
No one
those
wanted
balls.
them. No one got them. So whatever. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Is there a scene in this movie where they're collecting tennis balls?
No, they always use fresh ones because that's the thing about King Richard. He wants the best for his girls.
He's the fresh king of Bel Air.
He's the fresh king of Bel Air, exactly. So he started the movie off. And he's trying to pitch these kids to like random coaches at like tennis courts and stuff, saying like, I got their whole life planned out before they're born.
Yes.
They're great. Do you guys want to take them? And they're all like, oh, that seems like nice kids, but no. And he just keeps getting rejected. And then we're introduced to Serena and Vanessa, who are delivering phone books. They deliver phone books to a lady across the street who is like, yo, dad works you too hard. And they're like,
yeah.
They're like, okay, whatever. And their dad comes up and is like, stop doing that. Stop talking to my kids.
He's very protective of them.
He's very protective of them. Yeah. And it is kind of weird because like his parenting style is so like helicopter parent, right? Like all over the place, like making sure
nobody says a bad thing to them.
Nobody says a bad thing about them. He protects them a lot. He's very protective of them.
Yeah.
And in most families, it'd be like, this sucks. But like this, I mean, he clearly loves his kids too. Like it's clear that it's not just doing it out of like personal pride.
He does the thing too where like he doesn't care if he looks like an asshole as long as his kids are safe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've definitely seen that like style of parenting where it's like they might hate me now, but maybe in the future, yeah, as long as they're okay and as long as they succeed, it's all worth it. Okay. And it's sort of I feel like that's sort of what the movie's trying to portray as well, which is an interesting. I don't think you see a lot of that kind of parenting in films.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So he's got 5 kids total, right? But
yeah. He's got more actually.
5?
He's got more than 5 because he has other families.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he apparently had a son that showed up one day, and he like was like, "Nope." He ran out on him apparently.
Wow.
This is shit that I learned from his wife because his wife was like, you give up, you're a coward, like you just want to run away when things get bad. And then he says, "Yeah, I remember that time that your son showed up." So apparently he has other families.
Oh shit.
Or had other families.
Had other families.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, all that pretty exterior that you had about him, now it's all getting wiped away. Now you're seeing him for the true monster he was.
Well, there's definitely some scenes where you see he still has maybe that monster inside of him still.
What is it?
Oh, you see.
Okay.
So they all go to like this kind of tennis court that's, they live in Compton, so it's it's a tennis court. It's kind of run down, but they put posters up everywhere and they play. And these guys,
why do they put posters up everywhere?
Like motivational posters.
Oh,
like,
I see. Okay.
Like you could do it, and work hard, try hard, and all that stuff. Like
I see.
It's weird because like you see his language of like work hard, try hard, or like he literally says to them, "You got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail." All the kids repeat back at him.
Right.
And I'm
he
like,
said it a lot.
And I'm like, this is some like white motivational shit in my mind. Like I hear it's so much different hearing it like.
Well, it probably like started from
probably
like this sort of thing, like because like I know again, like I said, he was like sort of like a figure that like sort of rose to like at first people were like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and then his daughters became the best, tennis players to ever play the game. And so eventually people are probably like, this guy might know a thing or two
maybe we should
about
take
like
some ideas
motivating
from him.
people.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're out practicing, and one of the older daughters, and he believe is Trundy.
Yes, I think so.
Some guys, some gangbangers, come and harass her, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Come over here." And she's
they're from Boston.
Yeah, they're from Boston. They drove away.
Yeah.
In LA, they never talk about the Boston riots. When the Boston guys show up.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway,
so they're messing with
her, and he's like, "Go get in the car." All the kids get in the car, and he's like, "Hey, leave my daughter alone." He's like, "What are you doing, man? I was just trying to talk to her." He's like, "Don't, just get away." And he's like, "Were you disrespecting me?" And then they start beating. He punches him. It's only one guy. Everyone else is like, "Leave the old man alone. He's not doing anything."
Yeah.
So they like punches him and beats him up, and like in front of his kids too.
Yeah.
So then
the kids just watch.
The kids just watch in the car. Like, what are they gonna do? They're little kids.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of men beating them up.
Yeah.
So he takes it and then just drives off. And it's a silent, awkward moment in the car. But he's like, "Look, when I was a kid, like I had to fight from the Klan, the police, white boys, and I had no dad to protect me. So I guarantee I'm always gonna be there to protect you."
Yeah, he says that later too. When he was growing up, he accidentally touched a white person when he was like giving them money, I guess, and they just started beating the hell out of him. And when he was a kid, and he as he was getting beat up, he looked over and saw his dad looking at him. His dad ran away. Didn't try to protect him. So he's like, "I'm always going to protect you because my dad didn't protect me."
Yeah, that's one of those things where you're like, you learn from your parents the things to maybe
not do.
Not do.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go home. His wife's like, "Oh, that you got beat up. Like, this is really tough. Like, you're working nights and you're training them during the day. She works as a nurse."
I was gonna ask if he had like what job he had.
He has like a security job.
Okay.
Like, he just sits at a place and like guards it. That's about it.
Okay. Is it a tennis court?
No. It's like a Mexican market or something like that. He just watches it at night, like when all the shops are closed.
Like a supermarket.
Yeah, like a supermarket area. Kind of like it has a bunch of different vendors in it. Looks like.
Cool. Doesn't come into play later. I was just like,
not really. No, it's just like this is what he does. That's why he's able to like read things and like learn a lot about tennis because he spends time reading about it.
Oh, I see. When you're a security guard,
it's a job where you just sit most of the time. You don't really do much.
Yeah.
And they're like, his wife is just like, they need better than this. They can't keep learning from you. They're gonna at some point max out on learning. And this courts are bad. They're cheap courts. You need better courts.
Like, yeah, we do need better courts in this country.
Hey. And anyway, he goes to work, says goodnight to all the girls, and they all sleep in like, there's 5 girls. They sleep in 4 beds. So you can tell they're like, they clearly have like 2-bedroom house. Like it's very minimal.
Right.
Stuff. So he goes back.
See, he was also inspired the minimalist movement as well. Why do you need 5 beds for 5 kids?
You only need 4.
Yeah.
They're little. They could cuddle up. It's fine. They'll be warm. They can use less blankets. Win. So he goes to work and finds some coaches to pitch, and he goes up to one of them, and they're like, "Nah, you're crazy. Like I can't train them. No one's gonna want to train them because it's like basically saying." 2 kids for free that you want to coach, no matter how good they are, even with the pitch video that you made. It's beautiful, by the way. But
does he have a little like video cassette?
Yeah, it's a little video cassette that he made. He's like, it's like basically saying to someone, you have 2 Mozarts in your family. Like, it's just impossible. Like one child prodigy, sure, but 2, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. We're not going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a weird part of the movie that I'm wondering how accurate this part is, because this part seems a little weird.
What is it? Is it when like aliens show up? And...
Yeah, it's all strange. And they give Venus and Serena their powers.
Yeah.
King Richard's like, "Hail! I've been worshiping you on my day job."
Yeah, they're like, "You're the King, Richard.
You're the King, Richard. Yeah, that's why we beseech you these powers to your daughters. They will win Wimbledon. No one will defeat them."
They jump in a like a spaceship that looks like a tennis ball.
Thank you for worshiping us, the tennis gods on the tennis planet. My name is Love, and my name is Racket.
I'm the loud one. Anyway, so what happens? It's crazy.
So they're having lunch or whatever, or dinner, it seems like, after a game, and he's like, "I gotta go do something." So he just leaves the kids and is like, "You're gonna go home with Mom." And he just goes back to the tennis court, just starts like messing around with tennis balls and putting them around. But then the gangbangers show up.
Oh no!
And they're like, "Hey man, just so you know, what are you doing out here, old man?" Well, basically, he's like, "We're gonna run train on your kid."
Jesus!
I know. And he was like, and he heard that, and he was like, just starts punching him. He hits him with a racket, and then they just beat the shit out of him.
Wow.
And of course, it's only one guy doing this, and everyone else is like, "Dude, leave him alone."
They keep telling him.
But they have
Stop.
to. But they beat. When he gets
they all
hit,
got
they
it.
have to. You gotta support your homies, even if they
That's
suck.
right.
So he wakes up. Basically gets knocked out with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up, goes and grabs a gun, the gun he has from his security job.
Whoa.
And he sees him outside of like a liquor store. You're like, oh shit, he's gonna kill them. He's gonna kill that one guy. And he's about ready to do it. And he's on the other side of the street. And then a car drives by and just does a drive-by on that guy and kills him for him.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, that really happened? That's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So
the only person that would tell us is him.
Exactly. So Rock is dead, whoever that guy was, that asshole.
That's a shame.
So he goes to this guy named Paul Cohen to pitch him on his kids, but he brings them both in person.
Right.
And is like, hey, I need you to interrupt your game. He's like, I don't have time for this. Like, interrupt your practice with your two famous tennis ball players who I'm sure are big names. I don't know their names. I'm talking from my perspective, not his.
Right.
'Cause he knows exactly who they are.
He knows who they are, yeah.
And why don't you just play a little with my girls? He's like, fine, I'll do it, whatever. He does, and he seems to really take a liking to a Venus. Seems like she's doing really good. And he's like, you know what? All right, we'll do it. And so they have a coach now, but unfortunately, it's just for Venus, not for Serena. Serena does not have one, and she feels very, very left out.
Oh.
But here's what they do: is Richard goes and records everything from the training sessions that Venus goes through and shows it to Serena. So
that's pretty clever.
So it's the same side. And what she does is she goes and learns those with her mom at the court.
Right. Her mom is a really good tennis player, apparently.
Yeah, they're both athletes. I don't know what Richard did, but
I didn't realize that.
I did not know that their mom was also a tennis player.
Apparently, King Richard. Richard.
No,
his first name is not King. The King. He was teaching one of his girls how to. He was teaching him wrong how to play. Like apparently how to do a certain thing wrong. And his mom, their mom, was the one that was like, "Hey, here's how you actually do it."
Oh, interesting.
Which is very interesting.
So. They're doing the session, speaking of which, and during that session, he keeps interrupting Paul, like the coach, and being like, hey, no, she needs to not spread out her legs that way. She needs to go over to the left a little bit more. Otherwise she can't get that good stance. And he's like, no, you got to close your legs and then hit the thing.
Right.
And all this stuff. And, he's challenging Paul a little bit. And Paul's like, look, I just want to do my job.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Richard, shut up. Like, this is professional.
You were saying that.
I was like, shut up, dude. It's okay.
But he doesn't.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like the same thing. Like he probably is teaching her like wrong things accidentally.
No, I think that's actually something that they continue to do on into their career. And that's sort of I think what they. I don't know. I'm talking to my ass.
You mean they learn their his mistakes and actually use them?
Yeah, I think so.
That would kind of make sense actually.
Let me look at it.
The way to be the best is to be unpredictable, right?
Exactly.
Even if it's unconventional.
Anyway, keep telling me what's going on.
Do something unexpected, and people will be like, "What is that?" Her legs are closed while she's hitting the ball.
I didn't realize that you could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so
open stance. Williams usually takes an open stance with her feet parallel to the baseline rather than stepping into the ball with her right foot. Most players pull their racket back into looping motion. Williams pulls her straight back and keeps her racket lower tip.
Interesting.
But yeah, apparently she's got a different backhand and she has a wider stance. Apparently, an open stance is what they call it.
That's cute then.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now
see, that was a line for all of the Williams heads out there.
Yeah,
they were like, "This guy's teaching them how to do it wrong. This is what they're known for."
And so I'm like, "Dude, shut up! Listen to the coach. He's a professional." I'm just a dumbass over here. Doesn't know anything. So then, let's see. The parents, they go to juniors, right? So juniors is little competitions and local competitions, basically.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
It's a big thing. Yeah. So they put Venus in there, and she just whoops everyone, of course. And it's a nice juxtaposition because you see how mean all of the parents are to the kids when they lose, or how mad the kids are when they lose. They get so upset and pissed off when they lose.
But
well, I mean, I'd say there's no way to see that Venus loses because she doesn't.
She doesn't.
Wins.
She wins.
So you never see
maybe she'll lose at the
end. Shit. Oh no. It's great though, because like some kids are playing dirty and trying to win, but she just beats them all.
Yeah.
So she wins juniors.
That's a very accurate thing too.
Yeah, I know,
like
right?
Parents being shitty to their fucking kids.
I know.
It's like they're a fucking kid.
Also, like, who cares? Like, they're supposed to be here to have fun, and that's the thing. It's like
because that's not for some parents. It's not a thing to have fun.
Right.
For some parents, it's like this is going to be my meal ticket.
Which is funny because it almost sounds like Richard is the same way, but he does it he goes about it in a different approach.
Yeah.
Because he's always like, you're going to be the one who makes $1 million, not me. Yeah. You're the one who's going to be rich and famous, and you can buy as many beds as you want, whatever.
Yeah.
But
you can have a bed for each day of the week.
And then when they get nervous out there, like she was nervous at first, she's just like, just have fun. Like, look, just play the game now. Like, you've been training, and the training is hard, but now you just play.
Yeah. Yeah.
While everyone else is like yelling at their kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So she wins, and everyone's bragging about it, and but Richard doesn't like that. Richard doesn't like all the bragging. How they're all like, these kids should get better, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. He's like, here's $5. Go in the corner store, get me some food. And there's
a lot of food talk in this movie.
I know.
There's a lot of food talk.
Maybe through my filter, there's a lot of food talk. Oh, and your half too?
My half too.
Okay.
And it's not just Richard. Like, there's I don't know if you meet him, but the guy with the mustache, Rick Mackey.
Oh yeah.
He's constantly going like, "Hey, go get some food. You want to get a hamburger? You want to get some seafood?" I'm like, dude, you gotta watch your fucking like calorie intake.
That's funny.
What are you doing over here?
Yeah, athletes can eat like whatever they want.
That's true.
So anyway, he's like, drops all the kids off because they're all bragging.
Yeah.
And he starts to drive off, and his mom's like. The mom's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm leaving them there. They're bragging. I'm going to teach them. If they want to brag, they can brag about how they walk 3 miles to get to home.
Damn.
And she's like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to leave my kids out there alone. And so he stops the car and they argue for a bit. And then the kids come in the car. And they're like, why are you guys driving? He's like, I was about to leave you, but your mom told me not to. And it made you walk.
Yeah. I love how he could just be like, don't brag. Like, stop bragging.
He
like,
did a few times.
Oh, he did? They didn't
it.
listen. Oh, okay. Yeah. Then. All right, then. Yeah.
He tried it a couple
Then
times.
I would totally do the same thing.
And also his wife is also like, they're not bragging. They're just like...
They're just having fun.
They're just having fun for a victory. Like, let them do it. As long as they don't keep doing it. But he's like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
So then they go home and they put on Cinderella. And they watch all of Cinderella. And he comes back.
And Cinderella never brags. Cinderella's always very nice to people.
That's the thing is he says, what's the lesson, everyone?
The lesson is if you want to get dressed, you got to have some animal friends to help you out.
One of them was like, you got to be brave. He's like, how does that mean? He's like, well, you got to be crazy if you want to go into a pumpkin. He's like, give me your room. And there were some other things about like, accept other people, blah, blah. And he's like, that's not the lesson. The lesson is be humble.
Yeah.
Be humble, which is funny because I would not have guessed that from Cinderella.
That's the whole point of Cinderella.
Yeah, I guess you're right. In my mind, I think I mixed it up.
Snow White?
No, which is the one where they're fighting the dragon. Is that
That's Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, I'm thinking Sleeping Beauty. I think
not that there's no lesson in that.
That's what I thought.
I
was like, what? I was like, what is the lesson of this? For some reason,
Cinderella's all about being humble because she goes to the ball, but even when she comes back, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah. She doesn't brag about it.
No,
that's true.
Yeah.
So then they train the rain in the park, and the gang shows up again. But this time they're like, "Hey, don't sweat it. You're cool."
The ones that had one of their members get shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're the guy who's instigating all of it's dead now.
Yeah. So now they're like, we're cool gang.
Well, they also they're like, why bother them? Like,
yeah.
Why are we bothering them? We own this territory. They're just playing their sport. Like,
I think there's one point in my half of the movie. I think they roll up when what the fuck is his name?
Rick Mackey.
Mackie comes by to see how the Venus and Serena can play, and they go to the courts, and I think those guys show up and they're like, "Hey, what's this white boy doing here?" And they're like, "Are you in trouble? Are you okay, Richard?" And they're just like, "He's like, it's all right, man. He's just helping us out."
That's funny.
So it's almost like they're sort of looking out for him.
They have to. Well, like cool. Now they're like, "Dang, he put bad omens on that guy and he got hit by a drive-by."
Yeah.
So anyway, they come back and the cops are at the house because apparently they're getting reports that they're being too tough on their kids. So Child Protective Services come by.
Yeah.
And he basically yells at them, "Is like, look, we are hard on our kids, but we're not mean to them. We don't like abuse them. And you know what? We're better. It's better us to be like hard on our kids so they don't end up out in the streets, which is all you guys doing, shooting them all the time out there. And that'll be your problem. So I'm not making it a problem for you guys all. And they're like, okay, you don't have to do this. And they just leave. And then Queen moment. Front time of the Queen to shine. She goes over that neighbor. The neighbor I mentioned earlier, how they're saying your dad's too hard on you.
Oh, the old
She goes
lady.
over, knocks on the door, and is like, I haven't been over
Smacks
here
her.
much. She's like, yeah. Make sure I don't come over again. And then walks away.
Oh, that is the Queen moment. She rocks.
Yeah, she's
Mom
cool.
rocks.
Love Mom.
Yeah, I like.
It's just a good family, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a nice family. I just want to hang
Queen
out with them.
Williams rocks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good family vibes this season.
That's what I'm saying. Just like Coda, yeah.
Yeah, even Belfast had good family vibes.
That's true. Belfast had a good family. A lot of good families around
Yeah, a
here.
lot of good.
It's almost like people have been stuck inside with their families for many years. And I'm like, let's make some films about families.
Yeah.
Huh.
June had good family vibes. Really close mom relationship there. But that's for another episode.
Don't Look Up technically did have good family vibes at the end.
At the very end, everyone was together with their family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this
so,
was all.
Yeah.
You know what? We should have been nominated. Fast and Furious.
Seriously.
It's all about
they
family.
all danced around it.
Yeah.
God, that would have been awesome.
Anyway,
That's the theme of this year that no one talks about.
Yeah.
What was the second movie we watched again? I forgot. Was it Belfast? It was Belfast.
I think it was Belfast.
Okay, yeah. I thought we watched another movie for some reason.
I think it was Belfast.
Okay, then yeah. All families all the
families so
time.
far.
I'm curious if the next two will have families
Yeah,
in
we'll
it.
see. Probably.
Everyone's got a family, but will it be family focused?
That's right.
Will this be a family values or a family matters? We're all in the family.
We're all in the family. That's
a lot
a better
of family
one.
TV shows.
It's because what are you going to do when you get home from school and from your work? You sit down in front of the TV and you watch a family show.
Yeah.
You know, and you watch and you're just like, man, that's just like my dad. He's
Modern
a racist.
family.
Just like my grandpa. He's a racist. He's just like my
There's
mom.
always a man in here who's
She's
racist.
whining.
She's like, hey, Bob, she's doing way more work than she should because
Yeah.
the man is lazy.
Exactly. She's nagging.
Yeah.
Like my mom, you know. It's like that's what you do. You come home, you watch a family on TV, and then you forget the fact that you have a really shitty family because you're like, look how terrible this family
Yeah,
is.
this family's worse than mine. Mine only has
Yeah.
some quirks.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, but
Anyway.
then now you got wholesome families that really don't have that many quirks. They just have adversities that they get over.
That's true. I think probably the most fucked up family is like Always Sunny.
Yeah, that's a pretty fucked up
That's
family.
a pretty stuff.
That's why it's not in the name.
That's
It's not always
true.
family in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Modern Family, The Goldbergs,
There's so many family
Blackish.
movies.
There's a lot of family TV
Oh,
shows.
I was talking about movies with just or shows with just family in the name,
Family in the Name. Yeah, okay.
which is a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot of them. You
Okay,
know what you're gonna get into. Anyway,
that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's sorry, another tangent. It's like that and like workplace. You got workplace, you got family. Those are the only places you
because
can have comedies.
you know why? Because that's what fucking consumes our lives.
Oh God, you're right.
What are you gonna make what else are you gonna make a fucking show about to make it relatable? You either got a family, or you got a workplace,
Oh God.
or you got friends.
Oh shit, you're right, Friends.
Yeah, that's
Oh
the
no.
other one.
It's so man, is that all we are as humans?
Yes, all we are is like we either have a found
Everyone
family,
has a
or we have an
family.
actual family, or
And-
we have work.
And you have work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Man,
all we got.
When are they gonna have a show? Oh, they've had shows about death. They also had. I don't know if they had shows about taxes. That's what I'm waiting
That's
for.
what I'm waiting for,
Show
about
me
taxes.
the 1099 family. You know, put a
Yeah,
family
yeah,
spin on
yeah.
it. To
The
make it more
W2
digestible.
family.
W2s. W2s over
Yeah.
here. This is my dependents.
I love
I'm
it.
non-exempt.
That's the name of the show, Dependents.
Oh,
there you
dude,
go.
we
Because
got
you
it.
can also depend on them.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
every
go.
Saturday
Boom.
at 9 p.m.
Saturday's
Pacific.
a great time.
Fuck, man, I don't
for
know.
a TV
I haven't watched
show.
TV in
Yeah,
years.
yeah, you have to do it during
I don't
the
know
week.
what. I never watched live TV ever. Yeah,
No one's tuning into like a family comedy on a Saturday when people would be doing other things.
fine, whatever. But most people probably just don't tune into TV.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you mostly just binge it.
Like,
at
tell
this
me when
point.
Abbott Elementary's on.
It's on whenever I want it.
Exactly.
To be on. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
another
Doesn't
workplace.
matter.
That's a workplace.
Exactly,
one.
workplace.
And school.
School. School. Yeah, community.
Community.
But that was about we're a found family with friends.
That's a found family friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. We figured it out. We just have to
Wow.
make a show amongst these guidelines.
That's quite a lot.
It's kind of sad though, isn't it? When
I
you
know
think
when
about
you think
it.
about it, you just boil it down to like
These,
those
like, 3,
5,
4 things.
Yeah, those 5
Yeah.
different archetypes of shows that they could be about.
That's
But it's
all
like-
of human existence.
That's all human existence. I mean,
wrapped up.
you know, if you think about it, yeah, you're either collabing or you're famine.
I like that too. That's a good name for a TV show. That's why I like Twin Peaks, because it's none of that shit.
Oh yeah, well you're right. That I guess comedy wise.
Yeah, mostly like.
Otherwise, yeah, it's
easy
crime.
to watch comedy.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's crime.
It's all crime.
But technically, the crime stuff, Twin Peaks,
all about family.
Yeah, that's weird. Family, though. It's a good point. I mean, there's exceptions, obviously.
Yeah,
but
that's
I think
true.
for like comedies,
it's mostly that, like
mostly
lighthearted,
those.
like tune-in comedies.
Because you got to make them relatable somehow.
And that's what we all relate to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't relate to tennis though.
Yeah, I don't relate to
I've
tennis,
never played tennis.
I used to have a really good time playing like with paddle balls in the back of like my grandma's
Is that
house.
when you hit it with your hand?
No, you have like these little shitty paddles. They weren't as big as tennis rackets, but you hit it. No, that's handball.
That's handball.
Actually,
obviously handball.
Used to play handball as well because
shit, that hurts.
Handball, no, it doesn't hurt that bad. Yeah, handball was the thing you do when you were poor because all you need is a ball. It's the least equipment thing you need.
You need a wall and a ball, and that's all you need.
Yeah. It's funny because I still see my friends from when I grew up, and I still have them on like Instagram and stuff. One of them like plays in like tournaments for handball still in like that same area, and I'm like, damn. Handball.
That hand must be really
I
fucking
know,
calloused.
a lot of callus all over it.
That's crazy.
Anyway. So, let's see. Trains. Okay, sorry, no,
they got on a
train. No, I'm reading where we are. I'm so lost now. We went on a long tangent.
We did.
Okay,
but we discovered a lot.
They go to another juniors, and actually Serena secretly signs up and starts playing, and they eventually find out, and they're like, what? And they go over there and like, well, you started, you might as well finish. And so they win silver and gold.
Dude, nice.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah.
Who won gold?
Was
it Serena or Venus?
It was Venus.
Oh, okay.
Venus won gold.
Yeah.
So then they go home and they're all happy and celebrating about their win. They're like getting written up in newspapers, and they're reading the newspaper about like, oh, Venus Williams is new prodigy coming out and all that stuff. And now at the same time they're watching the video of Rodney King get beat up. And the mom says, at least they got it on tape this time. And I'm like,
ain't that for the truth?
No.
Damn, bro.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fast forward to a couple decades later.
Yeah.
Well, history repeats itself, unfortunately. But
hopefully we get a good tennis player out of it all.
I guess so. It's just an interesting juxtaposition of like, this is something that Black people have to deal with all the time, and then you're in this world of just white people who just don't even acknowledge it. Doesn't matter.
Care. Yeah.
It's not. It affects them at all. All they got to worry about. They put all their buckets into like their kids being good at tennis and all this stuff.
Yeah.
All their buckets. All their eggs in the bucket of them kids being good at tennis.
Buckets.
Mr. Bucket.
What year does this take place in? Like the 90s or the late 80s?
I think it's either early 90s or late 80s. Yeah.
I really liked that.
I liked that a lot too. It felt for me. It was like I was like, oh shit, this is like very.
Weirdly nostalgic,
like where I grew up. Yeah. It seemed sort of like it felt very authentic, where it wasn't like in your face with its like references. It just kind of had that same like feel of like the neighborhood, the setting.
I'll bet it helped that because it sounds like Richard took a lot of like video of the family, so they probably had a lot to work with.
Yeah,
like to make it more accurate, like the outfits and stuff. Anyway,
so they go to the fancy place to play, and the kids are in like. They're all dressed up and they're like a say no to drugs campaign. I'm like, oh, maybe this is late 80s.
Yeah. I was in a say no to drugs campaign in the 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Dare's
different though, right?
Isn't it? I thought it was the same.
The say no to drugs thing had like a different logo.
Oh, is that like the Nancy Reagan thing?
Yes, because Nancy Reagan was there.
There you go. Okay, then yeah.
And Paul's there and it's like, wow, your daughters are up there with an ex first lady. That's crazy. Like you really did this all yourself. Like I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they have a meeting with these two big shots who are like, look, we want to set you guys up big. We want you to be hook you up with tennis rackets, whatever you need, because it's going to be very expensive. But we want to like get you to the top because we have not been representing Black folks at all, really.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically, but he implied it. He didn't really say it outright, and Richard took a little offense to that. Was like,
understandably.
Wait, what do you mean? We're very excited and very proud, And he's like, well, I'm sorry. And he's like, no. You're reaching down to us, and basically he
we're gonna be like a token.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're just being there because we're Black, not because like we're actually
the talent, and also because you don't actually want us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do still recognize they're good, but still, and Paul's like taken aback. He basically just was like, no freebies, get out of here. The kids are eating like free food at the club, and he's like, no, there's no such thing as free in this world. There's always hooks in it. There's always a catch somewhere. And goes home. And then Paul shows up at home and is like, what's this about? Like, what did you do that for? He's like, look, I've been thinking, I don't like what happens to the kids at junior. Like, I see all the parents are all stressed out. All the kids are stressed. No one's having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think this relationship is over.
Damn.
And I'll figure it out my own way. It's like, Paul's like, all right, do what you want.
So wait, who's Paul?
Good luck. Paul's the coach, their coach.
Oh.
That was there and was helping train Venus.
I see. Okay.
So Paul's like, all right.
I'm out.
I'm out. Sorry.
What does Paul look like? Is he an old man?
He's got gray hair. He's not like old, but he's
does he have like crazy pants?
No, he's got shorts on most of the time because he's doing tennis.
Oh, okay. Because there's some guy that they're like, hey, it's that guy. And I'm like, I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, it's probably him.
Maybe it's him, yeah.
Does he have white? He's got white hair.
Yeah, he's kind of like older. Yeah.
Older. He's not old, but yeah.
He's got some spring in his step.
Yeah, that's probably him.
That's probably him then.
So it's like, all right, if you want to do that. So he leaves, says like, bye Venus, see you at Wimbledon, and then takes off. And the thing is Richard did not run this by Venus or his wife before like saying like,
oh,
hey,
shit,
we're gonna stop this completely.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna...
He does that a lot. He just fucking makes decisions without telling anybody. I'm like, I feel like that's like one of your biggest character flaws.
It's probably it's a pretty big character flaw. Like, he just does things.
Yeah. Without consulting anybody.
So what he does is he calls Rick Mackey in Florida,
go.
And Rick Mackey's like, who's this? Because apparently he trains some other lady tennis player, like found her when she was young and like brought her up. So very similar.
Jennifer Caprati?
Yes, Jennifer Caprati.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's in Florida and he's like, all right, whatever. And then next thing I see is him showing up at a car.
That's right. He shows up and then he's like, let's see you play. And then they play and he's great and they're great. And he's like, all right, I want to train your girls. And then he like gives them, he's like, here's like, a contract.
Well, it's funny because Paul actually introduced like, hey, that's their coach. He's really good.
Yes. And so that's why he
probably got the idea.
Want to work it out. And so so he's like, this is going to be like amazing. Like we're going to set up like room and board. You're not going to have to pay for anything. We're just going to bring your kids to Florida so that they can train. And then Richard's like, well, what about this Paul guy? He sounds like he might be able to help us out. And then he's like, well, no, because it's not going to be the same. And I really care about your kids, And no, he's not. Sorry, he doesn't mention Paul. He mentions those other people that he had interacted with.
Oh,
earlier.
the two guys, yeah.
The two guys. And they're like, they're not going to. When you come to Florida, you train with me. I'm going to be training the kids. When you go there, you're never gonna meet anybody. Like it's not as one-on-one individual basis. And so. Richard's like, all right, that's all I needed that's all I needed to hear. I wanted to make sure you actually wanted to do this. And so he shakes his hand. Then he's like, okay, but you're gonna need to make a contract for my whole family, not just Venus and not just Serena. We're all gonna.
What's the contract?
The contract is basically like a house, food, like train, like
put everyone up.
Everyone needs to go. Basically, my whole family needs to be able to go there.
Family.
And I want to work there. I want to be employed. And so, but Rick has seen, what Venus and Serena can do. So he's like, sure. All right, let's do this.
I mean, that's the thing is now they have a track record, right? Because they got all these junior trophies that they just started with, and it's just like, all right, so clearly they're good.
So they make the really long drive.
Oh, they drive.
They drive in like a RV, which Rick bought. So they drive in this RV from all the way from California. I didn't realize they were in Compton originally, but now I know like they've driven all the way from California to Florida.
That's probably the farthest you could drive across across ever.
But they do it.
Not ever, but across the United States.
It's a very long place to drive.
A long drive.
Yeah. And so they arrive, everyone's very happy. Rick's like, hey, go get some food. We got some burgers, get some fries. Let me show you around. And then they're like, hey, go play with this famous lady tennis player. She wants to play with you.
Also, like, the thing about Rick is he like did mention saw an athlete eating. I was like, you're eating that? It's going to mess your game up, dude.
He keeps saying that to everybody. But I'm like, you're offering food to everybody. Like, anyway. So, by the way, Rick is played by the John Berthnall. He's from the Punisher.
Wait, really?
Oh my God.
I could not. Dude, he had a wig on and a mustache.
I hate that this is consistent.
I also only saw him for like a minute. Like he was
okay, sure, fine, yes. He's got a very noticeable face.
He also has his sunglasses on, like literally the whole time I saw him.
So he was basically
like
the Unabomber in your half of the movie.
No,
yeah.
he was basically like one of those guys with the Groucho glasses,
Groucho Marx,
with the glasses, and
a great disguise.
It works for me.
It worked for you.
Sometimes
but that's him.
Listen, I usually see him not in the 80s. I see him in like neo-Nazi looking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he is very military cut.
Yeah, that's
most
right.
of the time,
but not here.
Not here.
He's a goofball. I like him in this.
Yeah, he seemed fun great. For the minute I saw him.
Yeah, he's great. So he's like, all right, go off. And then Richard's like, hey, I wanted to speak with you. Because he's like, he's very excited. Rick's like, yeah, we're going to get your girls, we're going to get them into juniors. That's what they're called, juniors. And Richard's like, no, they're not going to
juniors now.
We're not going to go to juniors. And Rick's like, no, everyone goes to juniors. And Richard's like, no, they're going to learn. They're just going to keep learning, and they're going to go to school, and they're going to get good grades. They're going to learn different languages. I want to make sure that they know how to live their life, and I want to make sure they know how to play this game before they're put into any sort of situation like that. Mm-hmm. So he makes a very controversial decision, which apparently everyone knew about back in the day. Basically, like, he had just gotten this free ride to Florida to have his girls train and not compete.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That
and
is
also,
wild.
Rick is like, that's nuts. Like, you should have told me this before you left Compton and driven all the way to Florida.
Why Paul also was like, all right, I'm leaving. Like, you can't do that.
So, right.
Well, I guess he didn't actually say that, but Richard did it. But basically, he's like, you crazy? You're not doing juniors? What's wrong with you?
So that's what he was saying. So then eventually, I think it's like 2 years go by or something like that. And these girls are just learning more and more and more. And then news hits about Jennifer Caprati. Mm-hmm. She was apparently, allegedly, arrested for drug possession and getting into trouble, which only makes Richard more like paranoid. Because at this point, too, Venus was like, I want to compete. Like, I don't want to keep doing this. I want to compete. And so she sort of, her and Rick sort of finally was able to convince Richard, but eventually that didn't work out because Richard saw what happened to one of Rick's older, other pupils. Mm-hmm. And so Richard's like, no, we're not having her compete ever now. Like, we're going to figure something else out. We're going to do something else. But this breaks Venus's heart. Like
they're just going to stop tennis?
No. Like, we're just going to have her do something. Like, we're going to find a new way for her to continue doing tennis. But like, she's just not going to, like, wherever she goes, just super protective, essentially. Like, we're not going to have her travel or any of that shit, but eventually, everyone gets very upset at Richard for this. Everybody, because fucking again, he made a decision without asking anybody, and so eventually he agrees after getting yelled at by his wife. Mm-hmm. He eventually agrees, like, okay, she can go play at some fucking thing. I don't know what it is. It's
Super Juniors,
whatever it is. Yeah, it's not a juniors. It's like an actual, like, real world, like, competitive thing.
High level.
Bank of the West Classic. I don't know what it's called.
Bank of the West. Man, I love that, like, advertising. If you advertise on, like, the most important fucking sports league ever, then that forever in anything about it is just always going to be called Bank of the West. Or whatever. That's
Staples
wild
Center.
to me. No, crypto.com, baby.
That's right. Don't. All right. Yeah. Anyway, so they go there.
Will always be there.
So they go there. And then a Nike executive shows up, and he's like, "Hey, we want to we want Venus to represent us. We want you to sign this contract right now. She hasn't even played yet.
Wow.
And we want her to sign. It's like a $2-3 million contract.
It wasn't wrong. They get that.
And so, but the thing is, Venus doesn't feel comfortable with it.
No.
And because she's like, I haven't even competed. What are they putting money up for? And she's like, I'm going to have so much I think she's also like, I'm going to have so much pressure that I won't be able to play right. And then I'll disappoint everybody. I want to go out there and actually play before anybody gives me money. And so they're like, all right, we're going to, and they're like, this offer leaves the minute she steps on the court. They're like, the minute she steps on the court, then we are not offering this anymore. And so, but Richard stands behind her daughter, and he's like, no, then we're not going to take the deal. And of course, Rick is like, what the fuck is wrong with your family? But you know what happens? She goes out there And after a little bit of nervousness, she ends up actually winning some of her matches. And the price goes from like 3 million to like, I think 5 million or something like that. Like it just keeps going up and up and up because like, oh, you're actually like really good at this. So then she's doing really good and everyone is like super confident that she's going to do this. But the thing is she's facing, I guess, the best tennis player in the world. I don't know what her fucking name is. I don't know her. I honestly don't know her name.
Okay.
But she's like the best player in the world. And
best
everyone's
player
like,
in the world.
And they're like, she's never going to win. Like, there's no way that Venus is going to beat her. Like, she, like, this person is incredible. Like, the fact that she's even going to be on the same court is impressive, but she's never going to do it. Like, you know, Rick doesn't believe in her. Rick straight up says, like, she's not going to win. Says this to Richard. And Richard's got all the faith in the world about his daughter. So they go out and they start playing. And she starts kicking this player's ass. She's actually killing it. She's rocking it. She's racking up points, I think. I don't know.
Sounds like it.
I mean, the music is going. The music is swelling. Everyone seems to have a good time, so that's good. But... And then the player's losing big time. And so the player ends up getting off the court. And apparently this is a thing that they do. Luckily, Rick is there to tell us, the audience, and everyone else that this is a trick they do to sort of psych out an opponent.
Get them on tilt. Yeah, you got to reset.
Because everyone's getting all hyped and ready.
Yeah, man. Just like in fighting games. You do the same thing in fighting games.
Exactly, just like a fighting game.
Same thing.
So the player just leaves and waits for like 9 minutes. Basically waits until Venus sits down, because then her like thing
adrenaline's different.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then they eventually she comes back and she starts fucking beating him.
Dang.
Like, just fucking rocks her and wins. She completely wins the second set. That's what I wrote down because I kept saying it. And the match. And everyone is very sad, but they're also like, you know what?
You still did really good.
You did really good.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is still like behind her 100%.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet because she's like crying and Richard's like, look, like, why are you disappointed in yourself? Like, you should not be disappointed in yourself right now. And it's a complete opposite of apparently what all the other parents did to their kids. And so they leave and everyone is like, it's kind of like a solemn moment where, like, you know, Venus is like really disappointed in herself, but like she sees her family and how her family's supporting her. And then as they're leaving the court and the stadium, there's a big group of people cheering for her, a bunch of strangers, and the Nike executive. And they're all like, you did such a good job. Like, that was incredible.
It was also like still a good game. Like,
it was still a really good game. You still put up a fight.
That's an entertaining game.
Exactly.
Right? It wasn't just like a slaughter.
So everyone's super proud of her. Everyone cheers and she leaves. And then the movie basically ends with a little thing saying that her, what was it? She... 9 months later, at the age of 15, she signed a contract with Reebok.
Dang.
For $12 million.
15 years old. That's so crazy.
15, which honestly, like, it's funny because I'm like, I understand like being disappointed in yourself, you know, like losing a game. You're 15 years old. I didn't do anything like that when I was 15
You're just hitting puberty, man.
That's
or you're like a little through puberty. That's
insane.
crazy, yeah.
And yeah, she would go on to win Wimbledon 5 times, and she would be ranked the #1 player in the world.
Yeah, I always forget how
and then Serena, her sister, would become like the greatest of all time as well.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because there's one moment where I think Serena's like looking out and she's like, I'm in the shadow of my sister. And Richard's like, I put you there because I wanted you to fight harder because, you know, she'll be a really good player. You'll be the best in the world. And I want to be in the case.
Wow.
And it ends with how every biopic does, actual footage of, you know, what the people looked like and the actual events.
How close everyone looked.
Pretty good. Honestly, what really was surprising was how accurate like the house was and their RV looked and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it felt very authentic.
Very.
And you definitely saw a juxtaposition, like even for a second, just between like the rich club and then going back home to like their neighborhood and stuff.
Yeah, very much. Everything's like clean and sanitized. Yeah. It also just reminded, like, I remember because we watched Coda last week, and I was like, boy, didn't really like how that movie was shot. Didn't really like that direction, the cinematography. Watching this one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is what a movie looks like.
Yeah, this is what you need.
Everything had like a slight kind of like yellow tint.
Yeah, they
to
pick
it.
different times to make things blurry sometimes.
Yeah, and like the they used like, you know, I don't know, like it had like good,
that film grain.
Had good shit.
Yeah,
like,
the lighting was good, the color was good and vivid.
Yeah, the direction was really great. Like I'm like, yeah, man, this one fucking. The only negative I'll say is I didn't like how the tennis was shot. I thought the tennis was very boringly shot.
Maybe you just don't like tennis, dude.
Maybe because they just fucking put a camera. It was like Wii Sports, or it was like
you know what? You're right. It was
like
shot
Mario
like that.
Tennis. They would just put a fucking camera on one end of the fucking thing, and they would just like swivel the camera back and forth, probably on a track.
It's kind of how else would you frame tennis?
Put the camera in the fucking like in the court, right in the middle, or right next to the person.
So you mean just how like how they film it on television? Like
no,
whole thing? Oh.
In the court.
Oh, in the court.
Next to the person. Like I want to fucking feel like that's the thing is we're seeing this almost from an audience perspective. We get some shots up close, but it's mostly like just somebody like hitting the ball.
You know, I almost wonder if it's an intentional decision because one of the things that Richard had.
We are seeing it from Richard's perspective.
Exactly, and he was always kind of upset at letting go. Like when she played her first junior, he was like, "Oh, I want to get in there. I can't look." Like he was basically like freaking out the whole time. It's just like, "Oh, she's gonna win," but like he's very nervous.
Possibly.
Yeah. So I almost wonder if they shot it like that, like you are the audience watching it.
Possibly. I guess if that was the case, though, I would have preferred a much more interesting composition. Just because it was just
it's hard to it's
hard to compose.
Just so
I get it.
Bland looking.
But maybe actually get it from his perspective. Like let's see it from further away. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The little thing.
It's a nitpick.
Movie wasn't terrible. It wasn't. Maybe it's just because I don't give a fuck about tennis. But I'm like, it was all right. It's pretty good.
It's all right.
It's not bad. I think here's the thing. I like the way this movie looked more. I think I like Coda a little bit more though.
Wow.
Sitting with it. No, you know what? I take that back immediately. No, I think I like this one more
Here's
than
the
Coda.
I think the acting overall was better in Coda.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's a tour de force of acting. I think this one has
better cinematography,
a more interesting story, more interesting story. And characters, I still like characters in both of them. I think the characters are good.
I like how the movie ends with her losing. Yeah. Like that's obviously what happened in real life, but like it's like a Rocky thing. It's not about It's not about winning the game. It's about being a better person.
Yeah, it's about the journey being there. Yeah, it's got like good classic, good sports movie vibes.
Yeah.
That I think probably might stand the test of time.
Possibly.
And it did a smart thing with the biopic where it's like, okay, we're just gonna show you
this moment.
Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I actually was sad when I had to turn it off. It flew by for me.
Yeah, it's over. It's like 2.5 hours long, and it did fly by.
It did fly by. I was like, oh, this is a long movie. And I was
more
like,
interesting
no,
than a tennis match.
More interesting than a tennis match.
Yeah.
So this is probably the longest movie we watched so far. Oh, and was Don't Look Up a little longer?
Don't Look Up was very long. It felt longer.
I felt like it felt longer. Yeah.
But it seems like we're watching the movie from worst to best so far.
I hope so. I hope this continues.
We'll see.
I hope this
but
continues.
I think we'd agree that like this is at the top. Coda's right beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And then below that was Belfast. No, you wanted Don't Look Up above Belfast.
I kind of want Don't Look Up above Belfast.
All right.
Belfast is just so boring to me.
I keep forgetting about it. So yeah.
I forget it exists.
Yeah.
It wasn't my jam.
Yeah.
Well, but also Don't Look Up wasn't my jam either. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're both.
At least I remember Don't Look Up a lot. So that's why I'm giving it credit.
Guys, what is your jam? Is tennis your jam? You should email us.
Or is it golf? Because we're anti-golf here.
We are.
Apparently.
I
thought we just hated Arby's up in here, but
golf and Arby's hand in hand. If you guys want to listen to our previous episode, you can find them at any podcatching app. And while you're there, please leave a 5-star rating and review. We will read it on the show, no matter what it says, even if it is singing the praises of fucking golf.
Fucking golf.
Is Will Smith nominated?
I actually don't know. I was gonna look that up because I feel like by default he kind of is, but I don't know.
By default, I don't think has he ever been nominated for like best actor?
I don't think so. Well,
Gemini
Man.
He's nominated.
Oh wow.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, good for him. I mean, I think he did good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is wow. It's got a lot of nominations.
Best
picture, best actor,
best original song,
best supporting.
That's a good song, by the way. Beyonce. She.
I don't think I heard. I didn't.
It was during the credits.
Oh, okay.
But it was a good song.
Original screenplay, best film editing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe Will Smith will take it. Home.
It's probably gonna win at least something.
It's
I don't think Will Smith will win.
I don't think he will either.
Best actor.
It's just he's holding back a little bit.
I mean, I liked him a lot. I thought he was good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I
think the mom killed it. I wonder. She's not nominated though.
No, she's not nominated.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like we said.
No, she is nominated.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, for Best Supporting Actress.
She's supporting. That's weird.
There you go.
I guess she wasn't the main character.
No, the main character is either Venus or Serena, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, she's nominated. So yeah, it'd be cool if she won.
Yeah, it'd be cool if she won. I like her. She's great.
Yeah, I liked her too.
Well, Will Smith has to beat out Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, but I mean, come on, being the Ricardos.
I know, being the Ricardos. Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom, and Denzel Washington in Macbeth.
Dude, Denzel.
I knew you were gonna like it.
Denzel.
Also, is that the only movie you've seen out of these three?
Yeah, I haven't seen Tick Tick Boom. Well, I've seen King Richard.
Out of these four, I guess. Yeah.
So if you're gonna compare King Richard with King Macbeth,
Macbeth's got it. Yeah.
I've spoken to the three witches, and they all, by the pricking of their thumbs, it's all Denzel, baby. Denzel probably won't win, but he deserves it.
He deserves it. He might win. Who knows?
We'll see. Good night, everybody.